Alright, so we're going to start filleting, but we have one large fillet to put in, and the rest are all the same size. So if we recall, on this back side, there's a 12 millimeter fillet here. So I'm going to do that one first. We're going to go solid fillet edge. Select our edge and change the radius to 12. Okay, and that one succeeded. Okay, so we got those pockets done. Only thing we have left is fillets and cutting the clevis slot in this side of the part, which I initially forgot to do. So here, let's do it. Okay, we need to be in the top view, and we're going to draw on. We're actually going to draw on the bottom of the part. So our slot, if we start on the front and draw a line with ortho on out to the extents there, so it's off the part, we can then offset that line 9 millimeters. And then we offset again another 20. And that gives us our width of our cut. And then it's 12 millimeters from this edge back here. So we're going to go from, we'll go from end of line to end of line. Let's go to wireframe. Okay, I'm going to offset 12 millimeters from here to the inward, and we're going to trim off these ends. Alright, now the other side of our cut, we'll go ahead and the other side of this is somewhat arbitrary, it doesn't really matter. We can just connect the ends out here as long as it's longer than the part. Okay. We're going to make a region out of that box we just made. And then we're going to do an extrude with that region. And once we select it, we're going to come up. And let's go 40. And then we're going to do a subtract. So we're going to select the model, hit enter. We're going to select the shape that we're going to subtract, and there we go. So we have our other clevis slot. Alright, so I already did one fillet. Now we're going to go through and do a bunch of other fillets. And we're going to use this command called the brep. And we're going to select on the model. And that should turn the the poly solid model history off. Okay, so now let's go to a conceptual view, and we're going to start putting in fillets. Now I may have to switch out of conceptual, but and the radius on all of our fillets are R2s. I'm going to start with all the ones that you see vertically. So we've got one here, one here. So anything that would be vertical in this angle. There. Here. Here. Those look bigger than R2s to me. Okay, so we got all those so that we can do continuous loops on our other edges. Let's type radius, yeah, that's R2. Okay, so all of those pretty straightforward. They occur where they're supposed to. Let's start with our pocket. And then we have the top rim of that pocket. You bastard. Let's hit enter on that. Okay, so that has an S-curve to it and it appears to function properly. Not sure about the transition there with the boss. Let's go do the opposite side. Now start with the floor, just like I did on the other one. And now let's go around the outside rim. There we go. Alright, so the pockets are filleted. Now we're going to try going around all one edge and see if we can get that to fillet. Now there's a dilemma, we could do the boss first or do around the outside edge first. The fillets around the boss to me are not that important for describing the part. So I'm going to opt to do those second. I might rewind the video and do it differently next time. So we're going to start with going around the rim. Oh, looks like I missed one here. Let's put that in first. Hang on. I should have included that fillet in the first set. Alright, now let's fill it around the edges. And we just keep tracing until we come back to where we started. Alright, so that's one continuous chain. And it worked. Sorry about the graphics problem. A little blue line shouldn't be there that I've got showing up. Alright, so let's flip to the other side and see if we can duplicate that level of success. So we're back to the front of the part. Fill it. I'll pick that edge. Go around the top. Alright, so we have all the fillets except for around the two bosses. So let's see if I can get those to succeed. And maybe they should have been included. I don't know. We shall see. Okay, it looks like those formed. And our last side. All right. Okay, I'm going to exit real quick so you can see it without all these blue lines on it, but I'll be back in just a sec. Okay, there we go. So we have the model pretty much done. We're going to be doing the different views set up for the drawing. Okay, so what this project ends up going to be is a broken out and a broken out revolve view. Create a top and a front flat shot. And we're going to modify those flat shots, and then we're going to go create the different views we need on C-size sheet. And you need to have this fully dimensioned. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go home and I'm going to make my construction layer frozen and our pictorial view frozen. Okay, so any of the little lines and stuff should be gone from this view. Okay, so I'm actually looking at the back of the part here. All right, so we're going to go to our procedure and step 6 in our procedure. So we're going to set to world coordinate systems, but our view is going to be on the front plane. Okay, and we're going to type flat shot. We're going to insert a new block. We're going to do it by layer. Continuous. Under obscured lines, it's got to be by layer. It's going to be hidden. And then we're going to get create. Okay, so we'll take that view. We're going to zoom out pretty far. And we're going to place that view above at a scale factor 1, 1, and 0 for rotation. Okay, zoom in. And we should probably go to wireframe here. And it looks like we got what we need. We got a hidden line there, got a hidden line there. And I'm not seeing our pocket. And that is because tangential edges are off. Alright, so let's do that again and with tangential edges on, but I think it's going to get pretty hairy. And we're going to check this box here. It says include tangential edges and create. Now let's place it above the other view and see what it looks like. Well, it doesn't look too bad. It's pretty busy. It's got a lot more hidden lines on it. But the main thing is we got this pocket showing up. We need the pocket there. Alright, so let's get rid of the first one we made and we'll use the one with tangential edges. Okay, now we need to do a top view. So we're going to go to world coordinate system and top view. We're going to type flat shot. And we're going to keep all the default settings. If we use tangential edges in one view, we probably should have it on the others. Let's do it with that, see what happens. And to me, that's a view that's a lot easier to comprehend. So I think I'm going to leave it, because if we added all the fillets, we wouldn't be able to see the hidden lines for the bottom of the pocket. So let's zoom out and let's stick that view up at the top here. And it's going to be 0 or 1, 1, 0. And we've got our top view. Okay, we've got our flat shots of our standard orthographic views. And now we're going to create a plane for our revolve section. And it's going to cut through this section. It looks somewhat like an I-beam. And we want it to be parallel to the angle of that it's traveling, so it's a true view. So we're going to use these endpoints, which are in the plane, as our selection points. So we want to make sure we're in first world and that we're operating in the front view, because that's the view the cutting plane would come in. Okay, so I'm going to rotate the view even though I'm operating in that UCS, and we're going to draw basically the angle, because it's not one of the standard orthographic views. So we're going to go to section plane, and we're going to use D, which is the draw section. It allows us to do it by drawing it, and we're going to draw a couple points to define the plane. So first we're going to pick the very top endpoint, and actually let's make sure we turn ortho and grid off, and the only object snap we want active right now is endpoints. Okay, so we're going to pick the tangency point of the top of the outside radius, and you're going to start seeing a plane being dragged, and we're going to go over and select the opposite one, and we're going to then hit enter. Okay, so you now have a plane that is sectioning the model, and the boundaries of it really aren't that critical. Okay, now you're going to left click on the plane itself until you see these handles show up, and you're looking for the one that looks like an arrow with a down with a line on it. We're going to right click on it, You might have to rotate this to get it to the right angle. Okay, you might have to zoom in and maybe turn your object snaps off because it can select things you don't want. We're going to right click on it. You should have this long menu show up, and you're going to select Generate Section, 2D, 3D Block. If you don't see all these parameters, make sure that you have it expanded, this arrow here, and we're going to go to Settings. We're going to set a bunch of settings. Okay, so we're going to start with our intersection boundary is going to be layer, profile, and visible lines. On intersection fill, yes, we want it, but we want to select the pattern. So we're going to go to select hatch, we're going to select pattern, we're going to go to ANSI, and we're going to select number 31 for cast iron. We're going to hit OK, and then we're going to move on to, we're going to change the hatch scale. Now, since this is a metric drawing, it's going to be 25.4. And the color is going to be by layer. And we want it to be on the layer for dimensioning. On background lines, we know we don't want to show background lines. And hidden lines, we don't want to show either. This is we're not showing the background of the part. It's going to be a simplified section. The layer is going to be profile and visible lines. Cutaway geometry, we don't want to show, and we do not want hidden lines. On curve tangency lines, it says show, we want to toggle that to no. Okay, we're going to hit OK, and we're going to select create. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. And we're going to pick a point where we're going to place it out here in space. And then we're going to hit enter to accept 1, same scale factor, and 0 rotation. So we should have a section that looks like an I-beam with a crosshatch here.